Born Mary Mendham in Chicago, Illinois, Rebecca Brooke came into the world with an early affinity for performance and self-expression. Her family background was relatively modest. Her father, Edward Stephen Mendham, and her mother, Mary Lee, raised her in an environment that encouraged independence and creativity. She was known to be a bright, emotionally perceptive child who quickly developed a love for acting and the arts. The stage years and theatrical breakthroughs. Little is known about her formal education, but by the late 1960s, Mendham had moved to New York City, where she immersed herself in the world of stage performance. With a striking beauty that was natural, classical, and commanding, she became involved in off-Broadway productions, where her presence stood out, not just because of her looks but due to her emotional sensitivity and vulnerability as a performer. Mary Mendham first made her mark as a legitimate actress in the theater world. She landed roles in several noteworthy productions. Hair, she starred in the controversial and influential rock musical, which became a cultural milestone in 1960s counterculture. Mendham played both Jeannie and Sheila at different times, engaging in a show that blurred the line between art and rebellion. Lenny, she starred in the role of Rusty in a production that chronicled the life of controversial comedian Lenny Bruce. Her performance was praised for its raw honesty and subtle emotional inflections. Other productions included roles in Flower Drum Song and smaller plays around New York City, where her dramatic talents were further refined. During this time, she also worked as a Playboy bunny at the Playboy Club in Chicago, where she came into social contact with influential figures, including Hugh Hefner. The modeling experience, combined with her acting ability, helped launch her transition from theater to film. Transition to film and emergence as Rebecca Brooke. Mary Mendham adopted the stage name Rebecca Brooke around 1973, marking the beginning of her brief but impactful film career in sexploitation and mature cinema. Her entrance into the world of softcore and erotic film wasn't out of desperation or exploitation, rather, it was a conscious and artistic decision in line with the era's sexual liberation and boundary pushing in art. Film debut and collaborations. Rebecca's debut came in Grace's Place, 1973, directed by Chuck Vincent, a director known for blending humor, social commentary, and eroticism in his films. This performance showed her ability to merge sensuality with narrative depth. She gained attention quickly, and by 1974-75 she had developed a strong working relationship with Joe Sarno, one of the pioneers of erotic cinema. With Sarno, she made several notable films. Confessions of a Young American Housewife, 1974. Abigail Leslie is Back in Town, 1975. Laura's Toys, 1975. These films were not typical mature features, they were melodramas with significant character development, exploring female sexuality and inner turmoil with unusual psychological insight. Rebecca Brooke stood out as someone who could deliver powerful performances without losing mature allure. The cult classic. Brooke's most iconic and career-defining role was in The Image, 1975, directed by Radley Metzger, under the pseudonym Henry Paris. Adapted from the novel by Catherine Robb Grillett, the film delved into the world of dominance, submission, and psychological control. Brooke played Anne, a mysterious and submissive figure, in a performance that was bold, vulnerable, and unforgettable. The Image was unlike anything in mainstream erotic cinema. It was philosophical, stylish, and haunting. Metzger's refined direction paired perfectly with Brooke's restrained and expressive acting, making it one of the genre's high points. To this day, The Image is considered a landmark in artistic erotic cinema. Hardcore entry and final roles. While most of her career was in softcore films, Rebecca did participate in a small number of hardcore scenes, most notably in Les Mille One Perversions de Felicia, 1975, a French production. Little Girl. Big Tease, also known as Captive Pleasures, 1976. Unlike many of her peers, Brooke was selective about her roles and did not work with the major East Coast or West Coast studios. She saw herself not primarily as a mature actress but as an actress who used sexuality as part of her narrative toolbox. After 1977, she left the industry entirely. Life after the screen. Following her exit from the mature film industry, Brooke disappeared from the public eye. Friends and collaborators described her as intensely private, someone who saw her work in erotic cinema as a short but meaningful chapter, not her defining legacy. She reportedly worked in various roles throughout the 1980s and 1990s. At the Waldorf Astoria in New York, where she held a managerial position. As the co-owner of a restaurant in Memphis, Tennessee, a venture that ended after a divorce. Rebecca was married twice but had no children. Her relationships, like much of her private life, were kept quiet. She remained deeply spiritual and introspective. According to mature actor Jamie Gillis, she converted to Islam later in life, a detail she never publicly confirmed but aligns with her reclusive and reflective post-film existence. Final years and tragic death. Rebekah Brooke spent her final years in Boca Raton, Florida, living alone and quietly. She avoided public attention and interviews, declining all offers to appear at mature film conventions or retrospectives. On July 17, 2012, she died at the age of 60 in an accidental drowning. It is believed she slipped and fell, possibly after losing consciousness, and drowned in her bathtub. The death was ruled accidental. True to her private nature, she had requested no obituary or public service. Legacy and influence. Though her career spanned only 4 years, Rebekah Brooke made an indelible mark on the world of erotic and underground cinema. Her impact is felt in several ways. Elevating erotic cinema, her performances helped legitimize adult films as a form of expressive, personal storytelling. Beauty and sensitivity. She was often described as one of the most naturally beautiful actresses in erotic cinema, yet her beauty never overshadowed her acting prowess. Cult status. Films like The Image have reached cult classic status, and her performance is cited in academic texts, erotic studies, and feminist cinema discussions. Rebekah Brooke's story remains a tale of personal agency, artistic courage, and the quiet tragedy of someone who chose to vanish from the spotlight rather than be consumed by it.